Welcome to Legendary Drops. My name is Ian, and oh, do I love anime. But instead of talking about it and watching it, now we get to be the anime, because that is exactly what Blue Protocol is bringing to us. See, as somebody that is a massive fan of the Tales of series, I know exactly what Bandai Namco is capable of in regards to making anime-inspired video games, crafting these beautiful worlds with beautiful characters and incredible combat. Now that we finally had the opportunity to watch quite a few people be able to play the game, we've also seen a lot of different opinions pop out about it, I felt it was time to make a video discussing exactly what Blue Protocol actually is, clear up some misconceptions around the game, and also tell you why I think this is going to be a major success. Just a few weeks ago, Blue Protocol had its beta test in Japan, and ever since then, the internet has been abuzz with different information regarding the game. A lot of content creators weighing in on how great the combat feels, or how beautiful the game looks, how leveling feels, other systems and things like that, and just a general discussion on whether or not the game is going to be successful or not. However, there's been one thing that's been kind of bothering me ever since, well, people have been testing out the game, and that is that a lot of people just have the wrong idea of what kind of game or what kind of MMO Blue Protocol is. All right, so one of the first things that I would like to do is just clear up some common misconceptions regarding Blue Protocol and try to set expectations going in the right direction. One of the things I've seen a lot of content creators do is try to make the direct comparison between Blue Protocol and games like Final Fantasy XIV and Lost Ark. Games that undoubtedly do draw inspiration from anime and are MMOs themselves, but Blue Protocol is nothing like these games. In fact, making that direct comparison might be setting yourself up for, well, the wrong expectations. I would say that other than having a focus on an impactful narrative, classes, and progression, Blue Protocol isn't what we would classify as a standard MMORPG. It's not your World of Warcraft. The most comparable game to Blue Protocol is Phantasy Star Online 2. Phantasy Star Online 2 is a Japanese action combat MMORPG, and there's a lot of emphasis on that Japanese and action combat part at the beginning. It's filled with an in-depth character creator, high-octane combat, massive boss encounters, huge levels to explore, player housing, guild housing, character development, tons of earnable equipment, cosmetics, and oh, it has a boob slider, so you know it's a pretty solid game. Phantasy Star Online 2 focuses on two things: social interactions and highly engaging combat. Yes, the game does have some of the typical trimmings of an MMO. You do see players while you're out on other missions and such, and there is a major city or a major hub where people gather. However, while playing this game, you just enjoy playing it. It's not about being focused on the end game. It's about learning new moves, creating combos, leveling up, and just joining in on these massive events that are happening pretty regularly throughout the game. Phantasy Star Online 2 is a social MMO. Whether it's the missions that you go on, or the main hub city that you hang out in, or the emergency quests that pop up every once in a while, or even the very rare in-game concerts that come in, the game is more focused on the player playing with other people, enjoying their time, hanging out with their friends, and beating up on monsters. It's not really focused on the character development portion as much as we see with a lot of the games that we play today. That's not the crux of the game. And that's why I believe that Blue Protocol is actually trying to be the next Phantasy Star Online 2, not the next Final Fantasy, the next World of Warcraft, or anything like that. It's aiming to be the next PSO 2. It's looking to be this very casual, super grindy, highly social MMO. Blue Protocol isn't focused or targeting the things that your typical standard MMO player is looking for. It's a game with very little focus on the end game and a lot more focus on the journey. It's more about you making friends, hanging out in towns, hopping in public events, and just enjoying the game. See, recently I watched a video from Canon where he was detailing some of his concerns with Blue Protocol's itemization, and I have to say I actually agree with pretty much everything that he said, because the game does need a little bit more depth in that department. However, I feel like the simplified itemization in Blue Protocol is just further proof that they are really hardcore targeting the audience of Phantasy Star Online 2. Like Blue Protocol, Phantasy Star Online 2 has an incredibly simple, extremely grindy itemization system. In PSO2, you're really only looking for 4 item upgrades. You're looking for your weapon and your 3 units. Units are basically like your back, legs, and wrist. It's armor pieces, but there's really not a whole lot of customization outside of that. The only thing that you're really doing is just leveling up those pieces and then looking for different ones once you're at a certain level and continuing on and so forth. Some items will have set piece bonuses and things like that, but there's really very little customization. So by now, you're probably starting to see where a lot of these similarities between these two games are starting to converge, where you're seeing that Blue Protocol is taking a lot of inspiration, most of its inspiration, from Phantasy Star Online 2. I think the main reason why many players and many Western players aren't making the correlation between Phantasy Star Online 2 and Blue Protocol is specifically because, well, they haven't played it. See, Phantasy Star Online 2 came out in Japan only back in 2012. 8 years later, finally getting a global release in 2020. Then add on top of that, a year after, in 2021, the game released an expansion, as they would like to call it, but actually it was more like a sequel, in Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, only to have both games fail. So I'm going to give a history lesson just for a bit of context. PSO2 was a massively popular MMO in Japan and pretty much has been for its entire lifespan. However, due to the changeover to New Genesis, Sega just stopped all major support for the base version of PSO2. See, New Genesis was a game that was boxed as an expansion, but really ended up being an entirely different game at launch, forcing players to make entirely new characters, suffer through tons of performance issues, and pale in comparison to the amount of content that was in the base version of the game. The game failed, and it failed fast. Imagine having this massive player base, a new audience that is ready to play this updated version of the game, and you just drop it, like a parent dropping a birthday cake on the ground in front of an 8-year-old. Not only did Sega's failure destroy the player base's faith in Phantasy Star Online 2, but it likely served as a cautionary tale for any developer that was seeking to potentially update their games in the future. I'm sure fans of games like Final Fantasy XIV, World of Warcraft, or Guild Wars would likely love the idea to see their games improve graphically or mechanically, one where the developers have learned from all of their past mistakes. However, I'm wondering if the failure of PSO2 has made them take a step back and reconsider any major revamps. And that's where Blue Protocol slides in. I would bet good money that there are PSO2 fans burned by Sega's handling of New Genesis that are waiting to make Blue Protocol their new home, their new casual MMO. See, gamers can key in on developers that genuinely care about making a good product because they can see that those guys probably want to play the game themselves. It's not every day that you see a developer throw out a network test and then immediately take that game back and all of the player feedback and go back to the lab for over a year in complete silence, revamping almost everything that has to do with the game. Bandai Namco and the Blue Protocol team genuinely want this game to be a major success, and they're going to put every bit of effort they can into it. Heck, it's even in the way that they're starting to emulate greatness themselves. They're looking at games like Final Fantasy XIV and emulating the way that they do live letters. Heck, Naoki Yoshida, the GOAT, the producer of Final Fantasy XIV, just back in August was talking about how excited he was for the game, how much there needs to be more competition in the MMO market, and just how many team members from Final Fantasy XIV have gone to work on Blue Protocol. The market is in dire need of a solid social MMO, something with less emphasis on needing to play every day and more emphasis on casual content and group interactions. Toss that anime aesthetic on top of it, and you have probably one of the most marketable, safe, and reliable products to put on the market. It's not just the PSO2 fans that are looking for a new home. It's the Genshin players that love the aesthetic and want to feel like they're actually playing an MMO. It's the closet WoW weebs that want to spend all day as their thick, pink-haired waifu.
There's an unironic boob jiggle button, okay? So yeah, very high-quality content. Really excited for this game. Hope it comes out very, very soon.
It's the Lost Ark fans that want to play a free-to-play MMO that doesn't need to be pay to win. It's the Final Fantasy XIV fans that want something to play in between their content drops and ERP sessions. Blue Protocol has an audience. This game has insane potential. It's not your hurry to endgame MMO because it doesn't need to be. The market's already stacked. Those positions are already filled. It's a drop a few hours, enjoying the world, enjoying the combat. Go spam some emotes, try to hold hands and vibe out MMO. I think the only thing that's going to hold Blue Protocol back is if they don't have good content cadence, if they don't have a solid schedule for content that's coming out constantly. Because if they have that simplified itemization, it's going to magnify the fact that they don't have any other content that's coming out. It's going to be really difficult to hold players' attention if your itemization is super simple and there's also no content to back it up. You know, Blue Protocol actually has something else going for it that I think a lot of people are overlooking. They actually have a pretty respectable, pretty refutable developer and publisher behind them. I mean, Bandai Namco is, man, they've been around for a long, long time, and they've actually done a pretty good job of staying out of negative headlines, which is more than we can say for most developers of our favorite games, sadly enough. But Blue Protocol's done a great job at developing and honing their craft, making One Piece, Naruto, and Dragon Ball Z games, really getting that anime aesthetic down. On top of that, they're the makers of one of the most respected RPG series of all time with the Tales of games. My Tales of fans know exactly what I'm talking about. Abyss, Arise, Vesperia, Berseria, Symphonia, whatever it may be, they have this style, this animation style, the music, the combat that you just honestly can't find in any other game like it. Lately, they've even tried to push and make sure that they've really honed in on how to make a solid online experience as well. They came out with Gundam Evolution, which has done really, really well. It's like a Gundam take on Overwatch, but it's something that's actually had some pretty decent success. So it's nice to see them start to branch out. Keep in mind too that Bandai Namco is the publisher of one of everybody's favorite game series of all time, Dark Souls and Elden Ring. So at least we know they have taste, right? That's good. Blue Protocol isn't going to be some MMO killer. It's not competing in that market. They're trying to compete for an audience of their own. So I think it's kind of important. While we can compare it to Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft, I don't really feel like it's super necessary to do so. This is a game with some passionate developers trying to make a very social, very fun game, and from everything that I've seen, that's exactly what the game is looking like. This may not be the MMO that you expected, it may not be the MMO that you need, but I think it is an MMO that is going to succeed. Anyway, I just want to thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm trying to get better with my cadence, my voice cadence, and also like how I edit videos and stuff like that. So, let me know what you guys think. It's hard talking in front of a camera sometimes. It's hard coming up with stuff off the top of your head. But I've been enjoying it. I've really been loving it lately. The growth of the channel over the last few months has been honestly insane. I want you guys to try to keep in mind that I've only been doing these like essay style videos for only about 3 or 4 months now. And in that time, I've gotten like 5,000 subscribers, which is bonkers. It's crazy. I didn't think I would ever grow this quickly. So I really appreciate all of the support. You guys have been great. Let me know what you guys would like to see in the future. If there's things that you see that I've talked about in the past that you want to see me talk about more, drop a comment down below. Let me know other topics you guys would like me to cover. See you guys later. Peace. Oh, sorry. I forgot to plug stuff. There will be a Discord in the description or maybe even the comments below. If you guys would like to join and become channel members, you can. You get special emotes and comment priority. Also on top of that, I recently did a video on AI in video games and the future of AI in video games. When I do videos that are off topic, ones that don't necessarily have a video game in the title, they tend not to do well because I'm just not a big boy yet. So if you guys get the chance to, go ahead and watch it. It's kind of cool. Kind of an interesting thought experiment. Outside of that, Asmongold, if you're watching this, what's up, dude? Peace.